Good evening. I'm Richter Overtime. I've compiled a list of popular Gmod ARGs, and I'm going to give you my exposition and my opinion on them. And the first thing I want to get out of the way is that I don't think that Hamza Khalil is an ARG. Um, it's basically let me pull up Hamza Khalil. If you pull this up, it's basically just a bunch of like it's kind of creepy TF2 videos, couple of Gmod videos, but ultimately it seems like it's just a guy dicking around because some of his older uploads are just like CS:GO footage and like Red Dead Redemption 2. And while I like some of the newer videos have some creepy stuff in them or like, like added sound effects, or he's done a couple videos that have plots or, one thing that strikes me is the way his game looks is kind of like it's weird. It's got this like ambient occlusion going on or whatever it's called. Also, it's weird that he's uploaded these hour-long videos. Oh god, I need to put my phone on mute. I'm so sorry. But ultimately, it doesn't seem like this channel was started to be an ARG, and I think if it is an ARG, it's something that this person has just kind of tagged on there as an ARG. So I would list it more as not an ARG than, compared to the other ones on here, which are clearly meant to be creepy, spooky web series, right? Yeah, Lemon Box, let me give you mod if I can. Add moderator. There you go. So, what do I think about Richter Rule 63? I wish I never had to think about it again, is what I think. Shadow figure laziness? No, because the only ones I have on there are the original shadow figures. But, okay, so, first things first, since I'm restarting, there's probably new people in the stream. The two people I've talked to, the two ARG creators I've actually talked to, are the guy, or the person, I'm not sure, behind Badwater Videos 2009, and I've talked to the person behind, what is this called? Plastic Apple. Those people have both contacted me. So I'm going to try not to be super biased, but they're good people. So I think a good place to start is with what is, I guess, the original, which is Classic GM Videos. Now, Classic GM Videos, they were, I think, maybe not the first. I think Gunslinger's channel actually predates them, but they were a very early pioneer in the classic Gmod ARG stuff. And they did use the black figure trope, the shadow figure. But one thing that I did find really interesting was its use of the pond. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, they had this pond in the construct map in the early versions. And in the ARG, the player, like, dips a camera down, and the camera just gets lost. And it's like, okay, well, it focused on the dark room, which became, a bit of a trope. Going the spooky black room and the figure and everything. But the focus on the pond, I think, is interesting, because it also shows, I think they edited the map, which shows a degree of effort. And really, the thing that I really like to see in these ARGs is just effort, So that's why, and the fact that it pioneered the Shadow Man thing, even if nowadays we kind of see that as, oh, it's played out, I think the ingenuity in this one is kind of underrated. I think. Now, is this the one? Can anyone tell me if this is the one where there's a deleted video where the guy respawns and he's in a black room and there's like a skeleton on fire? Is that the one? Because I can't remember. Kleiner's Challenge is funny. Yeah, and also the Kleiner videos are really... The Kleiner's Challenge and the Bob and Bill stuff is pretty cool. It's a nice little thing to follow. Get good, make original ARG Among Us. Right. So... Oh, was Gmod9Fan actually before Classic GM Videos? I didn't know that. I thought that Gmod9Fan came afterwards. Okay, well that's fine, because I actually was going to talk about, oh shit, do I have Classic GM? Yeah, I do, okay. It's the G-Man. This one is also A tier, because, let me find it. Gmod9Fan Reuploads. Now, I believe this was the one that has the... Oh shit, which one was this? I kind of forgot about this one. Yeah, this is the one with the weird spooky guy. This one was, this last video is well done, with the props falling over. I think it was done just by, the guy using a thruster that was invisible. But, I did think the use of the face was a little corny, like a little cheesy. Where's it at? Is that this one? Yeah, the male Cheeple face. This was the one that focused on the Cheeple because he, like, crucifies it in this video. Oop, I can't actually play the audio from these videos because I think they're copyrighted, but I would place this actually probably B tier because there's not a lot going on, but it is still kind of a classic, so I'm going to put it in B tier for now. I might change that later. Someone told me that ARGs are good, but I don't know what that means. They also told me that you are good at breaking down ARGs. Okay, is this guy role-playing? No toothbrush. Man, because of these ARGs in the darkroom, I'm just going to play on GM Construct with no darkroom. Is that a thing? Someone just made that? Alright, so next, I think it's important that we put Gunslinger in S tier. Because I think this revolutionized the entire Gmod ARG sphere. Because this was the pioneer of the sentient ragdolls thing. And I actually think that Gunslinger has the best atmosphere. It's the most unnerving of any of the ARGs because it's... the things that are wrong are so subtle. Like, I actually still don't even really know how they did the part where the soldier shakes his head no. I mean, I figure maybe they did something with a thruster, but that's freaky, man. It's freaky, and the way it looks like he's looking at the player. Pioneering the sentient ragdolls thing was really, really crazy. Like, because up until that point, it was just, oh, there's a creepy figure in the game. So, hold on, you guys can still hear me, right? Okay, yeah. The spooky stuff with the living ragdolls really did set this one apart from everything else. And I think it's been passed by Badwater by now. I think Badwater has like almost 10,000 more subs, but I'll always respect Gunslinger for being the innovator that, you know, changed the game. Which is pretty much the same reason I have these two in A and B. I might end up moving Gmod9Fan a little bit lower. But, alright, which one do you guys want to see me do next? Type which one you want me to do next, because there's Badwater, Plastic Apple, Gmod Cool Player, Gaming Gramps. Yeah, let me know. Rechat. Will you play the new Sandbox? Oh, hey Otis, what's up? I don't have a build of it. Gunslinger Pro might be the first, and it might be, well, the start of the ragdolls being alive, but it may just be me, but the videos don't feel 2009 or 2010 themed to me. See, I kind of disagree, because I actually remember playing on that sled map, which actually came out after... Oh, you're right. Maybe I can set this to just capture the window of... Is that a thing I can do? Just capture the... tier list. Okay, that's probably a little bit easier on the eyes, if I had to guess. So, okay, that works. Okay, I'm seeing a lot for Badwater and Plastic Apple. So I'll do Badwater because we just did Gunslinger. So my thoughts about Badwater. This is a very interesting one because this is a really good ARG. I would say what Gunslinger did was it laid down the premise of I've seen a lot of comments that are like Gunslinger walks so Badwater could run. I kind of disagree because I think with Badwater they took the approach of a more cohesive and easy to follow storyline, while Gunslinger comes across, I heard Stellar say this before, that it's more just disjointed creepy videos where there's like a very, very loose narrative going on, whereas with Badwater it's really easy to follow everything. And that's why I think a lot of people do prefer Badwater, is because it was more like a series. It was more like something you could follow versus Gunslinger, where it's just like, oh, well, what kind of like weird shit is going to happen next? So I would probably place Badwater right above classic GM videos. In my personal opinion, you guys are allowed to disagree because it's, I think, has a less dreary and like morbid theme than Gunslinger did, because Gunslinger is just straight up. It feels like terrifying. There's no music. There's nothing going on. It's just you see these ragdolls and they're fucking dying. Can you watch the ARGs you have not covered yet? Like what? Like the ones that are on the? You mean on the tier list? Cover the ones I haven't talked about yet in a video. Yeah, we'll get to those. Badwaters is more cohesive and linear. Exactly, exactly. Tips to start an ARG. You need effort and you need something unique. Don't just do sentient ragdolls again. Yeah, Badwater expanded on the creativity that Gunslinger had in a way that allowed more people to attract to it, even if it is kind of like, a knockoff, a copycat. But I still think the fact that it introduced its own characters is really unique. And I think that the Melon Man and the Teethanier are really lovable, and I think that's another reason why people will flock to that, whereas with the Gunslinger, it's just, the Blue Spy, and I guess the Red Heavy now. A-tier Badwater? I don't know. We'll see. I might make some adjustments before we actually finalize the list. Gaming Gramps next. Spamming's not funny. Yeah, thanks for all my mods. I think there's like one of them, actually. Thanks for Lamaubox for taking care of the chat. ARG idea. Use Half-Life source NPCs since their path finding makes them instantly go into the dark room. Sure, Badwaters isn't as dark as Gunslinger Pro, but what makes up for it is its lore building. I would agree, and I also have to respect the level of animation. You can tell the person who's making Badwater has put in a lot of effort into making a product that's really blends in with the older Gmod TF2 machinimas. What do you think should be the next ARG horror trope? Sentient props. Just get the companion cube mod that used to stab you when you didn't look at it, Yeah, Badwater isn't very subtle, where Gunslinger is extremely subtle. Alright, what do you guys want me to cover next? Because we got Plastic Apple, Cool Player, Gaming Gramps, 2006 Gmod guy or whatever it's called. Prop on ARG. There's too many people who want to be mod. Were you serious when you said sentient props? No. I mean, maybe you could do that and make it interesting. Alright, I see Gaming Gramps. I see Plastic Apple. Mossman. Alright. Let's get Gaming Gramps out of the way, because I have an opinion that you guys are not going to like. And that's that I think Gaming Gramps is kind of bad. And not because it's not unique or because it's not like it's not interesting, but I think it's kind of a little insensitive in a way. And I think it's a little too obvious too. There's not a lot of subtlety. I mean, you go through 2 videos, you know what's going on. It's a guy making videos about he has dementia. And the reason that I'm kind of predisposed to not like Gaming Gramps is I've interacted with people who have dementia, and it's really terrifying on a way that I don't think is... I don't think it's appropriate to tackle that as a scary Gmod ARG, But I can respect that it's different, it's unique, there's nothing else like it. But, I mean, they use the Caretaker song, and it's like, okay, well, come on. Come on now. And, I don't know, I don't really think it stacks up in quality either. Yeah, dementia's worse than death. It's terrifying. Like, if you've never interacted with someone who actually has dementia, it is a terrifying experience. And I don't, like, I feel the same way if you guys watched the peer pressure episode with the librarian about making, it's not really making light since, it's still like a morbid story, but to make a story, a fictional, web series about dementia, it feels like it's in the same vein as the people who make stories about how downtown is haunted because the creator killed himself, I feel like it's just kind of in poor taste. That the person behind the Gunslinger channel... Ooh, I don't think that's true. I hope it's not true. Dementia doesn't fit in the video game world. I also just feel like I said, it's way too obvious. You know what's going on immediately. Like, straight out of the gate. They use the Caretaker song, they've got the yellow circles, and it's like, okay, we know what's going on. What do you think... Okay, I'll get to that in a second. What about sentient NPCs? I actually thought about that. They use only the most known Caretaker song in a bad way that is so lazy. That first song isn't even supposed to represent dementia. It's supposed to be memories before they're affected by dementia. I just think it's just kind of distasteful, and that's why I personally don't like it. You know, I'm not a big fan of Gaming Gramps. I thought it was interesting. I followed it when it first came out, but I don't know that I'll ever do a video about it because it's a touchy subject, and I feel like it's not right, you know? But what do you guys want to see me cover next? Because we got a couple left still. We got the Plastic Apple Cool Player. What the fuck was that one called? Just Gmod Guy 2006. Sentient Table would be interesting. Yeah, I'd love to see that. What is Ball Licker 2008? I keep seeing that. Is that a real thing, or are you guys just fucking with me? Mossman, Plastic Apple, Plastic Apple, Plastic Apple. What role do you think Rochelle should be in the Plastic Apple universe? I don't know. Gmod ARG idea. Gmod horror map playthrough, but instead of jump scares, it shows the viewer past memories of the player that are rather dark and awful. Alright, I see it's either Mossman or Plastic Apple, so you guys figure that out. Post whichever one you want. If I could change something about Gaming Gramps, what would you do? I would get rid of the music that's, you know, it became a meme, really. I'll admit, I think that the Caretaker song wasn't as popular when that, ARG started, but nowadays it's really cheesy. You know what's going on immediately. Mossman, Plastic Apple. Okay, it's Apple. It's Apple. Alright, Plastic Apple, like I said, full disclosure, I've talked to the person who made this ARG. They're a very nice guy. I would... I'm going to put Plastic Apple in high B tier. Or actually... Yeah, I think that's a fair placement for it. I think it's above this one. Gmod9Fan Reuploads. I think really it might be better than Classic GM Videos. But Classic GM Videos was... it was an original, so I think it kind of belongs up there, you know? How I feel about Plastic Apple is I think it's the last string of sentient living ragdolls that I think I'm ever going to have any interest in, because it flipped the script a little bit. You know, it's not TF2, it's Left 4 Dead characters, and the player isn't the villain. But, you know, that's about as far as you can twist that narrative anymore. And I think anything forward doing the sentient ragdolls thing, it's going to be extremely difficult to make that anywhere near interesting anymore. You know, so I think Plastic Apple is like the last straw of that. But I do think it's really, really well made. I really like the style. It has a lot of charm. In fact, you know, I'll actually move it up to A tier. I'll move it up to A tier for now. I think it's kind of, like I said, it's riffing on the same stuff, but it's unique enough to where it's still engaging and interesting. Alright, what's going on in chat? I need to check chat. Did I fuck that up? Okay, it's still good. Do you think I should check out Gaming Gramps ARG? I mean, you can check out whatever you want. It's up to you guys. Thanks, Lamabox, for deleting shit. Hey, just put vintage Gmod movies in very low tier because we all know it's not super on the nose. It's just super on the nose horror that is not scary. I don't even think... I don't even remember that one, really. I'll have to watch that before I actually rank it. What is your opinion on men? What? I'm naming you Mr. VHS Tape. All right. So what's the next one? We've got Cool Player, Gmod Guy 2006, Portal Videos, Mossman Fan, and Vintage Gmod Videos. What is your opinion on SWAS? Why always Gmod IRGs have 2009 at the end? It's the last year that young people remember, really. I remember 2009. Barely. What do you feel would refresh the whole Gmod ARG genre? You need someone who's going to put in a lot of effort into something that's concise and easy to follow, but is unique. For the love of God, Mossman. All right, let's get Mossman out of the way. Not an ARG. It's just a shitpost. It fucking has Don Toliver music in it. That's not 2009, but it is pretty funny, I will admit. Like the idea of like dedicating a day to the most mundane and just forgettable character in the Half-Life franchise that no one likes. No one's favorite character is Mossman. I do think it's funny, but I don't think it's an ARG. There's some creepy videos on there, but I don't think it's an ARG. I think you should check out Joe Mama Joseph 2012. Hey Richter, you said you were going to talk about Plastic's latest video. Yeah, I actually will do that right now. It was what was it called? Left Behind, and I think it's the perspective of Nick through the events of the series. Like after he gets abandoned and then he falls down in the KFC or whatever. Some weird. That's probably Morse code. In fact, yeah, I would bet a lot of money that's Morse code. Morse code, maybe you decode the Morse code into something else. Is the rest of the video just Morse code? Alright. Yeah, I think this is, yeah, like I said in the comment, very reminiscent of how Badwater showed the scout's perspective of him escaping. And I have to mute myself on Discord again because fucking people messaging me. Hey, since you're talking about Plastic Apple's newest video, what about Gunslinger Pro? I'll get back to Gunslinger Pro in a minute. Did you see Mossman's new video? Yes, I did. Hey, Richter, you said... Yeah, okay. Favorite Valve game? TF2, Half-Life. Those are my two favorite Valve games. Not particularly any Half-Life game, I just like that series. Probably Half-Life 2. Tutorial Videos 2006. People keep posting that. I haven't actually heard of it. Let me look that up real quick. Tutorial Videos 2006. I can't find this. Is this a real thing? I can't find any channel called Tutorial Videos 2006. Alright, whatever. Favorite Nintendo Wii game? You know, I had a Wii for like 2 days as a child. I guess Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Gmod Classic Videos doesn't post any more often. Yeah, it's true. A lot of the old Shadow Man ones are kind of gone. Just gone. Of course, the theory was proved false because of the video itself. I don't know what he's talking about. Are you going to make another tier list or add more ARGs? I might redo this list again later in the future when I actually know how to live stream, so... How did you miss the man that's in the chat? Who's in the chat? I would love to make a Gmod ARG, but I'm too much of a scaredy cat and my editing skills suck. You don't need to be... Being a scaredy cat doesn't matter if you're making it. Favorite non-Valve game? Gotta be Super Poop. Would you still cover a game as a live ARG if it wasn't Ragdolls? Well, I think all the ARGs on this list, except Gaming Gramps and... Yeah, I think just Gaming Gramps, it's all about the game being alive. What about Freeman Fridays? We love our Freeman Fridays. Alright, what's the next one you guys want me to cover here? I don't own Gmod, so I can't make an ARG. Well, don't make an ARG if you just know how to play Gmod. You gotta have a little bit of a a creative mind. It takes a little bit more than just knowing how to use the weld tool and everything. I smell blood, and I think I can hear the tank theme. Okay. What do you think about the Librarian videos? Librarian's cool. Librarian's really cool. Okay, people want Portal videos. So, I actually haven't checked this one out that much. So, from what I'm hearing, it's a Portal ARG, and part of the ARG is requiring... It's the most actual ARG, like, on this tier list, because it requires people to go through... there's a workshop page for this ARG, and you play through the actual maps. And I think that's really cool. I ultimately don't know that much about it, so for now I'm going to just place it at B tier up here. I think that's a fair spot for it, because it sounds really interesting, but I need to look into it more, to be honest. Rate Richter overtime when, please. What? What are your thoughts on a Gmod ARG that takes place in the late 2010s, like somewhere set around Gmod, or someone set around 2016 or 2019? I think it won't have a pull, because the number one driving factor here is nostalgia. I think the latest you could probably go is 2014, before people are just like, okay, whatever. I got an idea for a Gmod ARG. Make the player trying to make a ARG, but something wrong happens. I mean, that would be just kind of funny. I don't know tutorial video 2006, and I can't find it. What is your favorite ARG in general? Probably Gunslinger. It's got the most, like, hype behind it. You know, like, whenever it posts, it's like a big event. Shut up. I've been live an hour, and I still don't know what I'm doing. Your opinion on Teethaneer and Mellow Man? I think those are what has made Badwater such a great and powerful ARG. Not powerful, but popular. Okay, so I think the last couple ones we're covering here is Gmod Cool Player, Gmod Guy 2006, and Vintage Gmod Videos. Now, I actually need to get a refresher on Gmod Videos. Here, I guess I shouldn't do this in this tab. Gmod Videos or whatever. Okay. What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm so sorry, guys. Let me just move the OBS thing so I'm not just like showing weird shit on the screen. I need to find vintage Gmod videos. Vintage Gmod. Oh, vintage Gmod movies. Alright, I'll just watch this with you guys because I don't remember it very well. Vintage Gmod movies. Yeah, that's one thing that I always find really weird about these ARGs is when they use like VHS, like analog static and shit. It doesn't make any sense at all. Oh, this is set in 2020? Yeah, this one is just kind of nonsensical to me. I think it's someone downloaded Gmod9. And like when you get like the pentagrams and stuff, it's pretty on the nose. It's pretty hard to take it seriously. It's pretty cheesy. Too bad Badwater isn't here. It's called Tutorial Videos 2006. All right, well I'll search for it. You guys will see that I can't find it. Tutorial Videos 2006. Those old YouTube tutorials. See, I'm not finding this. Is it a thing? Ah, here we are. Okay. Yeah, I actually haven't seen this one. How to make walking ragdoll in Gmod 10. These are all pretty long. Gmod, sorry, this one's 1 minute. There's music in this, so I can't play it. What is this? Chat box. Barney. Grigori. Well, it looks like an old Gmod video. What else is there? How to make a firework. Mega gravity gun in Half-Life 2. Fun facts about Counter-Strike weapons. T-weapons. Like CT weapons, but more. The bomb has been planted. You know, actually, after this, I'll talk about Gmod Guy 2006, because that one's also kind of interesting. And it also used the... So is there anything creepy about this, or is it just... Is there anything creepy about that, or is it really just Counter-Strike? Because I don't see anything there. He's in the bloody chat. I really wonder why I haven't saw any pyro in the whole Gunslinger Pro 2009's videos. I don't know. There's one in Badwater. There's one in Badwater. The Piter. No Rip Corner tier. Okay, let me pull the tier list back up. If I can. There. Okay. So, next is... What is next? Fuck. I need to keep this full screen so I don't have to keep resizing it. I look like an idiot. Cool Player and... Okay, this I'm gonna put D tier. At least Gaming Gramps is like consistent. This one is just kind of... You know, someone put it as shock horror, and it doesn't make sense. Really hard to follow, and I just don't care for it. Next, All right. Do we want cool player or Gmod guy? Do you enjoy eating shovels? I can't say I do. Watch the oiter. It's an actual. Okay, the piter. Portal ARG one. I just covered it a minute ago. The guy you just watched is in the chat. Which one? Pictures in Panavision in the chat. CD Meaty. I should have put CD Meaty on here. It's really interesting, but it's just not. It's not done very well. Tutorial videos is in here. Oh, hey, buddy. Hey, that's kind of funny. Hey, Tutorial Video 76. I can't watch your videos right now, and also I think you were the one who had the copyrighted music, so I can't listen to it either. Recommended Awesome Valve Fan 2009. I don't remember that one. Okay, Gmod Guy it is. So Gmod Guy is really interesting. Gmod Guy 2006. You've got really simple videos at first. Now, was this the one where he leaves the room and it's dark? Yeah, this is really cool. This idea is really freaky. Oh, I forget that I need to show my display capture. Alright. Gmod Guy 2006 has this video where they go into the dark room, and once they leave, the rest of Construct is also dark. Which is kind of terrifying. I mean, if you think about it. Yeah, and he just quits. It's a realistic reaction. Richter, I have stupid videos on my channel. Alright. Rate Richter Overtime, please. 10 out of 10. S tier. Would you ever do a collab with Librarian? You both could cover spooky subjects. We did Peer Pressure. I don't know if there's ever going to be another thing. Tutorial videos is not the only guy. So is Portal videos 2012. See, now, that makes me feel kind of weird, you know? Oh, turn monetization on. I want to make money. I want to make money. We're going to make big money. We're going to get Richter Overtime money. Alright. So, what's left? What was I just doing? I forgot. I was distracted by monetary gain. The tier list has Gmod Guy 2006. Yeah. So, Gmod Guy 2006 has this, which I think is really cool, really creepy. Really creepy premise. I mean, I would just leave too. Yeah, everybody else here really likes this. You just come out and all the lights are off. And it's like, well, that's scary. Have you thought of doing an ARG yourself? Yeah, like I said earlier, I have. It might be the actual one since the stream is related to ARGs. Richter getting that cash. I'm not making any cash, man. ARG, more like FARD. Very true, very true. Do you think the spy would get any special treatment from Badwater? I have no idea. Portal video sent an empty message and that's all. Well, we had 2 ARGs in the chat. That's interesting. You should eat a panini. Alright, well, let's, let me get my, spot for Gmod Guy 2006 up. Actually, wait, I forgot. I need to show the other thing he did, which is pretty cool. Which is the... Another office. This is pretty interesting. They decompiled the CS office map, it looks like, and added this long, scary hallway to it. And I think once he gets down the hallway... Yeah, once he gets down the hallway, he tries to open the door, and the game crashes, or the video freezes. Yeah, I think it's the game crashes, because then you see this, which I also like that it's... Yeah, this looks like it took an actual large amount of effort to make. Yeah, editing the maps. I'll always have, I'll always give props for people who edit the maps. You know, because that shows a degree of, effort that is not that common. Any tips on making Ragdoll's cooperative? Do you think you could maybe get Ross Scott in an episode of Peer Pressure? You know, that is actually my goal. I actually really love Ross Scott. I would love to get him on an episode. But I don't think he likes TF2 that much. Hit me with some of that Amazon slave money. Imagine there was an ARG that just had a bunch of stupid add-ons and actually made it interesting. Alright. Okay, can you cover Awesome Valve Fan 2009? I remember this one. I don't remember it being very good, though. Or did I already look at this one? Yeah, this one is just kind of a troll. This one's just kind of a troll. Because it has like a troll in it. Like, it's pretty... Yeah, no troll, and it ends with Mario and the troll face and that. So no, I think if I were to rank that one, That one would go in the not an ARG slash shitpost with Mossman Fan and Hamza Khalil. Can you cover? Okay. FOTT was probably the original source ARG. What is FOTT? When Pure Pressure episode 3? I'm recording it later today, actually. Why would I shoot them? That's mean. Jeff Bezos for Pure Pressure? That would be really interesting. Watch Messing Around in Gmod 13. What, on this? Or Gmod 12? Alright. Sorry if anybody heard that. That was probably really loud. Alright, so I think the last two, Gmod Guy 2006, really interesting. Lots of changes to maps makes it like, okay, what's going on? It's intriguing. The problem is I don't know the story. It's impossible to discern a story out of maps just being weird. And I think he goes to a train station in the last video. It's just really hard to gauge a real story out of that. So I wouldn't want to put it too high. So what I'll do is I'll probably put it B. I don't have anything in C tier. What's middle of the road? What is middle of the road? I guess actually this is middle of the road. Gmod9Fan Reuploads. I don't really like it that much. I mean, it's not bad. But I think... Okay, can someone give me a reminder which Gmod ARG had the video where he goes into the... He gets killed by a dumpster or something, and then he respawns in a dark room and can't use his flashlight, and there's a skeleton on fire. Whichever ARG that is, I need to bump up. Because that was literally the scariest thing I've ever seen in an ARG. Like, it's the most nightmare, like, I could... That's like something I was terrified of as a child. That was Classic GM Videos? Okay, then Classic GM Videos is S tier. And... Can someone send me the link to that? Because I want to show the viewers. It was a really, really big scare. I really love that one. It's my favorite thing I've seen. Classic GM Videos. Yeah, here. This video. This video is my favorite scare I've ever seen in a Gmod ARG. Because it's so real. Like, if this happened to you when you were playing Gmod, it's like a nightmare scenario. Like, it's exactly what I want to see out of, like, video game horror, you know? Like, he dies, killed, you know? Then he respawns. It's dark, weird noises, flashlight doesn't work, and then this fucking thing pops up. And it's so real. I mean, that's what you would do. That's exactly what you would do if that happened to you. You would just quit the game. You'd probably turn off your computer if you're a scaredy cat like me. So yeah, if that's Classic GM Videos, then Classic GM Videos belongs in S tier for that. The 8th page of the Garry's Mod manual said, "What are your deepest fears, Richter?" Fortnite ARGs really scare me. If you look closely, you can see a face in Classic GM Videos dumpster videos. Maybe. How many people we got in the chat right now? 160. Jeez, that is a lot of people. Like, something's coming to get you. Yeah. What was that channel called just now? That was Classic GM Videos. The weird, scary skeleton thing that was Classic GM Videos. But I think it's a deleted video. Someone re-uploaded it. Which is a shame, because I think that's, like, the freakiest thing in that entire ARG. Alright, so next, and I guess this is our last one, is Gmod Cool Player. Which is, it's an interesting one. Let me go back over this, because I'm very hot and cold about this one. Gmod Cool Player 1. I'm very hot and cold on this ARG. On one hand, it's pretty cool, and on the other hand, I don't really know how to feel about it. So there's a lot of just weird shit on here. Like, what is this? Like, I haven't even watched this, actually. He's on Construct. Weird, VHS distortion, or I'll watch this on mute because I know it has loud noises rather. Yeah, this one's interesting because like this is interesting. This is my favorite thing that it's done so far, is this deleted world where you see from the perspective of a ragdoll that gets deleted, right? They get deleted by the player. You guys can see this, right? Yeah. So he gets deleted by the player, and then he gets sent to the deleted world, which is where, I guess, the things that the player deletes get sent to, which I think is a unique and interesting premise. But then also I feel like it's kind of directionless. Like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. There's this thing about the ragdoll creator where it's like a ritual to summon living ragdolls or something. It's I can't say it's not creative or it's not interesting, but it feels very directionless. And then this video, which I watched, is just fucking weird. Like, I really don't know what's going on, and I don't think there's enough information given to know what's going on in this ARG. It's just like, okay, this guy, like, kills himself. Like, yeah, the only text that I could actually siphon out of this was, I am so sick of it, I killed my own children, the only exit is death from all. And, like, maybe I'm just silly, I don't know how to decode that, but it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know what's going on there. But since it's still an interesting ARG and it's doing unique things, I would put this. Actually, yeah, this will work. I think this tier list works. Gunslinger's an S tier because it's got a great atmosphere. It's a trendsetter. Classic GM Videos is in S tier for the same reasons. It's classic, great atmosphere. That scare with the fucking skeleton guy, wireframe guy in the dark room is really good, and it's also a trendsetter. Badwater is A tier because it was a adaptation of an idea, but they made it more palatable for the average viewer. They made it easier for you to follow, and made it a story that was a little bit more fleshed out, you know, and it's got a lot of hype behind every upload. Plastic Apple I'd put right under it because it's a derivative of a derivative. It's a derivative of Badwater, which was a derivative of Gunslinger. But it's still interesting. I just think it's as far as that idea can be stretched. Portal Videos 2012, I don't know enough about it. Actually, I'll put it behind the one that I know about. Gmod Guy 2006, I put in B tier because even though I don't know what's going on, it's really cool that the ideas that they're experimenting with seem to be interesting. Versus with Cool Player, it's very directionless, but you feel totally lost. Like, there's just so much going on, whereas with Gmod Guy 2006, there's not a lot going on, so you don't know what's going on. That was kind of didn't make any sense, but maybe people know what I mean. Portal Videos 2012, I've not gone through it, but it seems to be doing really interesting things, so I'm putting it in B tier just to appease people. Gmod9Fan is, it's alright. I have respect for it as an older ARG, but I just don't think it's as interesting as the other ones, and I think that, well, it's over now anyway. I don't think they're even working on it anymore, so I think it's sort of this classic that isn't really that good. There's a lot of movies like that. I put Cool Player beneath that because it tries to do unique things, but it's just everywhere. It's all over the fucking place. Gaming Gramps, I don't like because I feel like it's distasteful for a very sensitive topic that impacts a lot of people in real life. And that's not that I'm like some, social wizard and I'm an authority to tell you what you can and can't make your series about, or, that kind of thing. But I just find it distasteful personally. Maybe you like it more. I also think it's kind of cliche with the use of the Caretaker song and the yellow rings. You know what's going on. And then vintage Gmod movies, it's just kind of bad. I don't really know what's going on. It's all over the place. It doesn't make sense with the VHS. Which actually, Gunslinger has a video of VHS effects too, but it was the first upload, and it doesn't seem related to the rest of the ARG, so I give it a pass for that. And then Hamza Khalil is not an ARG. I think it's some guy. He might be a third worlder. He's got a weird computer, and he's just fucking with people. He got a lot of attention. Now maybe he's making some creepy stuff. Mossman I also don't think is an ARG. So that's my tier list. So now I'm going to interact with chat a little bit. Counter-Strike ARGs. I don't know how that would work. Richter, you're wrong about the player deleting a ragdoll thing. In reality, another entity killed the player with the tool gun. That's interesting, but I have no idea how you got that. I mean, maybe it's some weird coding that's in those giant walls of text. It seems to me that this one is a bit of an unprofessional type thing. Did I Ellis from Plastic Apple? I don't know what you're asking, man. Gmod ARG, but the vehicles are sentient. The Jeep, just you spawn, the Jeep runs you over. What ARG should I do a tribute video to next? You're doing tribute videos? I don't know. I guess you could say Gmod9 makes very classic GM videos. Yeah, very true. Very true. Repeating once more time. Yeah, I know Ellis is in there. It's weird. Five Nights at Freddy's ARG. Very true. How about you try to find some scary ARGs from Russia videos on Gmod? I've seen some weird Russian stuff. When the 9mm blows half of my entire head off. So true. It really doesn't make much sense. The channel is a mixed bag where it can't decide what the plot will be, but the videos feel like an old Gmod video. I don't know what you're referring to, Sierra, okay? Half-Life 2 ARG where the campaign is wrong and gets worse and worse with elements coming out wrong and the campaign going in a different direction. That'd just be interesting. Yeah. An actually good ARG idea is an ARG from the premise of a Vanoss-like gameplay video. Gmod ARG, but the textures are sentient. They start wrapping around the walls. Not gonna lie, I learned how to make a ragdoll walker from a show where everything is alive and suffering. Badwater. Peer Pressure Deathmatch Classic. Right. Maybe check out Portal Guy 2009 since him and Portal videos are the only Portal ARGs that well... I don't know. I don't have that much of an interest in the Portal ARG stuff. Because it's just like, the game's already creepy. I think it's not... It doesn't have as much of an appeal as the Gmod stuff, you know. Gmod ARG with a map is bigger than it should be. I thought about that. I thought it would be interesting if somebody edited the skybox and upscale it in Construct and make it part of the map, so you can actually fly out of the map. Maybe even you could copy paste and make the buildings enterable, but that would be a lot of effort. I think that would be really interesting if someone who's really good with Hammer gave a shot at it. Who with a white picture on S? That is classic GM videos. It's a really old one, but I think it's really good. We have to work on our own Ricochet ARG. Ricochet ARG would be really interesting. Really interesting. That game is kind of creepy, with the way you just fall into the void and you hear him screaming. What if we combine Shadow Man, Sentient Ragdolls, and the Dark One? Oh, the Dark Room, I imagine. How chaotic would that be? I mean, I feel like that's what's going on with, like, I feel like that's basically what's going on with Cool Player and vintage Gmod videos. They're just kind of doing everything. Like, you ever heard the phrase, Jack of all trades, master of none? I feel like that's those two. But at least Cool Players, it's unique, it's interesting. Actually, by the way, Mossman tier, Mossman deserves its own tier, really. Right up there, right, it's above everything else. No, I'm kidding. I guess Chicken Kiev CSGO 2010. CSGO wasn't even out in 2010. These people don't know how to make anything. Gmod ARG, but the map is alive is an idea I actually had. Maybe a video could have the map make a noise. See, which Gmod ARG had it where they went into the dark room and then they tried to leave and there was a brick wall and then they turned around and the floor to the dark room was gone. That one was pretty cool. That actually might have been Gmod9Fan. Maybe I'm not giving Gmod9Fan as much credit as it needs. Does anyone remember that one? When you fall in the void and Ricochet, you get a fate worse than death. You get sent to Florida. Very true. Hey, Ultra, I'm going to make you a mod, because I know you asked. I forgot. Richter, go the hell to sleep. It's 3 a.m., please? Maybe. Maybe I'll do that. Mossman Fan 2009. Are you willing to do a review on... I don't want to review anything. Please. I love that people like this genre enough that they want me to help expose their projects, but I really don't want to do anything if it has like 5 subscribers. Because I just get accused of making the stuff at that point. I thought about making an ARG where the player is stuck in source games only. 3 a.m. for you, Richter? It's 2:30 for me. The dupes are sentient. Yeah, Gmod ARG, but the spawn menu is sentient. The ragdolls just start climbing out of the spawn menu while you're trying to spawn them. Team Fortress Classic 2012. Imagine not working night shifts and going to sleep before 6 a.m. WTF. Alright, well, I think this is good enough for the stream for now. I want to say thanks for everyone who showed up. We had like 160 people in here. That's nuts. I've never live streamed before, so I'm sorry that it was just a fucking mess. But I think we had a good time. Thanks everybody for coming out. I guess I'll leave this stream public. I might unlist it later and edit it down to a actual watchable video. But that's been my my Gmod tier list ARG. Just asking after the stream is done, will the stream still be available to watch? Yeah, you guys can watch it, at least for a while. Thanks everybody for coming out. That was my Gmod ARG tier list. You can feel free to disagree. It's all good. But you guys have a good night. Oh, good evening. Later.